Welcome to Big Faces Worldwide. It's your guy Big Will, and I am back with this boxing talk. What's good with your fam? Hey, listen, the PBC and Fox, man, they kicked off their first show of their new partnership last night, man. Headlining the card was Charlo, man. He went up against Matvey Korbov. And Jamel Charlo was also on the card. He fought Tony Harrison. And opening the night off was Dominic Brazil went up against Carlos Negron. Now, I'm going to start off with that fight, man. That fight was pretty competitive early on, man. Negron came out boxing very well, man. I know Dominic Brazil has stated that he wanted to knock Negron out early in the first, second round. He wanted to make a big statement. He wasn't able to knock him out, man, early. I think he was a little bit too anxious in trying to do so. Negron was boxing very good early on, man. He was catching Brazil with good jabs, good combinations. You know what I mean? I think Brazil was a little bit surprised by Negron, you know what I mean? But as the fight wore on, man, you could see that Brazil's size, you know what I mean, his size and power started to take its toll on Negron, man, and slowly you started seeing Brazil start to catch Negron a little more often, a little more cleaner, and he started breaking Negron down round by round until finally he caught him with that big right hand, man. It looked like it was like behind the ear a little bit, but nonetheless, he caught him, man. He caught him good, man, and that punch hurt him bad. You know what I mean? The referee had to come in and had to put a stop to it. I believe it was round 9, you know. And afterwards, of course, he went over there where Deontay Wilder was sitting at in the crowd. And he had some words for him, man. He'd been wanting Wilder for a long time, man. He'd been the mandatory. Well, actually, it was a little unclear who was the mandatory. Was it Dominic Brazil or Dillian White? You know what I mean? But they made it known that Dominic Brazil is the mandatory for Deontay Wilder's WBC title. He made it known after that fight that he wants Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder stood up and obliged him and told him anytime. You know what I mean? But at this time, man, I don't see Dominic Brazil beating Wilder. I don't see him beating Joshua. I don't see him beating Ortiz. I don't see him beating Fury. With that performance last night, it looks like Dominic Brazil needs a lot more work. You know what I mean? He did get the win. He did get the knockout, man. I do know he's a dog. I seen him in tough fights, man. I seen him fight Joshua. I seen Joshua peppering his face with hard, solid blows, man, and Brazil just kept coming, man. He just kept coming for more punishment. So I know that he could take punishment. I know that he's willing to take punishment, man, but his skills, you know what I mean, he's a little too slow. He's a little too slow for those other guys that I mentioned, man. He's not fast enough to compete with them. And I think that, you know, he doesn't have the skills to compete at the elite level, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And for that reason, I think Anthony Joshua knocks him out again. I think Deontay Wilder knocks him out. Luis Ortiz knocks him out. Tyson Fury probably knocks him out. Because say what you want about Tyson Fury, man. That dude is 6'9", 270. He got power, man. He definitely stunned Wilder a couple times in their fight. So Dominic Brazil got some work to do, man. Now, as far as Jamel Charlo going up against Tony Harrison. Now, my thoughts on it is this, man. Jamel Charlo definitely went out there and underestimated Tony Harrison, man. He thought he was just going to come out there and put on a showcase. I heard him say in plenty of interviews that, you know, we should expect an early knockout. And, credit to him. He went out there and he attempted to knock Tony Harrison out, you know what I mean? But as we can see, Tony Harrison has got better. This ain't the same old Tony Harrison that lost to Jared Hurd, that lost to Willie Nelson. You know, Tony Harrison has definitely been working on his conditioning. He's been working on his patience, and he's been working on his focus. You know, in the past, man, not only have Tony Harrison ran out of gas in those fights, man, it seemed that he also lost focus late in them fights, man, mentally. You know what I mean? You got to be focused during the whole fight, man. You got to be in condition and you have to be focused. And those two things, I believe Tony Harrison was lacking in the past, but he did not lack them in this fight, man. He came out there and he was patient. Jermell Charlo was just a little over anxious, man, like he always is. He's always very aggressive, you know. Credit to him. He was in excellent shape. He looked good. He went out and he did what he always do, man, and that is put the pressure on fighters. You know what I'm saying? But he in my opinion, he don't know how to cut off the ring properly, man. He was just chasing Tony Harrison around, throwing wild shots, missing a lot, and Tony Harrison was making them pay. You know, there's a saying, make them miss and make them pay, and Tony Harrison was doing that all night long, man. However, I do think the judges' scorecard, they had a little wide, man. When they started announcing them scorecards, I just knew it was for Jermell Charlo because I could not see Tony Harrison winning by that much. You know what I mean? But hats off to Tony Harrison. He is the new WBC super welterweight champion, man. And Jermell Charlo, he sort of got exposed last night, man. He sort of got exposed. He got to work on his defense a little bit better, and he has to have a plan B. You know, you just can't go out there and just think you're going to force your will upon your opponent, man, and think that's going to work all the time, man. And that's what he tried to do, man. But this guy, you know, Harrison, man, he was just real slick, man. He was you know, slipping them punches. His footwork was excellent. His jab was on point. You know, every time Jermell Charlo threw that wild right hand and missed with it, Tony Harrison would make it pay and snap the head back of Jermell Charlo, man. But, you know, Jermell Charlo showed a good chin, man, because we know Tony Harrison does have power, and he caught Charlo very, very clean with a lot of punches, man. And I do believe he hurt Tony Harrison throughout the fight a couple times, man. But, you know, Tony Harrison got the victory. He got the nod. It was not a robbery. What everybody's crying it was a robbery. It was definitely not a robbery, man. I do think it was a little closer than the judges had it, you know what I mean? But it was definitely not a robbery. Congrats to Tony Harrison. Now the question is, what's going to happen now with Jermell Charlo? Is he going to, you know, if you're the champion, you know, it's almost given that, you know what I mean, you have some type of rematch clause, you know what I mean, in the contract. So, you know what I mean, I would love to see a rematch between those two. This time I think Charlo will make the adjustments needed, and you know, I think he may be able to pull it off, you know what I mean, if he comes in with the plan B. But he definitely got to go back to the drawing board. He definitely got to work on some things in the gym, because just that brute strength and that aggressive power that, you know, the Charlo brothers come with, man, they're going to have to come with something else, because that's not working. That is definitely not working, man. Jared Hurd spoke after the fight, man. He said he had Charlo winning. He said he was a little disappointed because he wanted to give Charlo his first L. You know what I'm saying? And now that fight's up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen with that fight, man. And you think about the rematch clause, you know, like with Jared Hurd. When Jared Hurd beat Erislandy Lara wanted the rematch, you know what I mean? But we haven't seen that rematch. So, you know, there's no guarantee that Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo fight a second time right away. You know, I know Tony Harrison said that he'll give Mel a rematch, you know what I mean? But then right after that, Mel came over and said some disrespectful things. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I think he said something to the fact that Tony Harrison told him that he had won, you know what I mean? But it did look like in the ring, by just looking at body language, that Jermell Charlo definitely thought he won the fight, and Tony Harrison was not as confident as you would think someone would be who won the fight. But congratulations to Tony Harrison, man. He did his thing, man. And, you know, we got a new champion. We got a new player in the super welterweight division, you know. And I'm looking to see what he does next. Now, on to the main event, Jermall Charlo and Matvey Korobov, man. Korobov came out and fought a really, really good fight, man. You got to give it to him, man. This guy, he's 35 years old, man, and he finally got the opportunity. He was planning on fighting on the undercard, and with Willie Monroe testing positive for banned substance, Korobov got the call that he was going to be in the main event, you know what I'm saying, on prime time on a premiere of PBC and Fox partnership, man. And it was a hell of a stage for him, and I think he showed up and he showed out, man. I never seen Jermall Charlo get hit that cleanly. I mean, Korobov was catching him with that straight left all night long. I mean, all night long. Jermall Charlo did not make no adjustments for that straight left hand. I think that Jermall Charlo, like his brother, underestimated his opponent, man. He was facing a southpaw, but he was training for a southpaw. Willie Monroe's a southpaw, so he was training for a southpaw, and Korobov was tricky, man. Maul did fight well, you know what I'm saying? He did fight well, but I don't know if the scorecards was a little too wide in favor of Jermall Charlo, in my opinion, in that fight. I thought the fight was a lot closer than the scores led on. You know what I mean? Jermall Charlo, they definitely got exposed that they are not just going to steamroll over every opponent that they come across, man. And and it's the sport of boxing. This is what happens. Man. You're not just going to be able to roll over every opponent that you fight, man. Now both Charlo brothers fought good. They fought really well, man. But we seen some holes in their game, man. You know what I mean? When you step up in competition, you start to see different things from certain fighters. Like they say, styles makes fights. And Korobov had a very, very difficult style for Jermall Charlo, man, and he wasn't able to figure him out until the later rounds, man. He hurt him bad in that 12th round. I thought he was going to be able to get him out of there, man, but Korobov being a veteran, being 35 years old, being from that European style, that European school, he knew to hold on. He knew how to gather himself and got his feet back under him and was able to finish this fight, man. Now, do I think Jermall Charlo is ready for Canelo Alvarez? And the question is absolutely not. By that performance last night, in my opinion, I think Canelo Alvarez beats the shit out of Jermall Charlo. That's just my opinion, man. I have seen Canelo Alvarez get better and better and better in every fight, man. And Jermall Charlo, he was getting better and better in every fight, man. I just think he had an off night, and it could be the fact that he just watched his brother lose, man. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to be too critical on him, man. Watching your brother lose mentally, your twin brother who you're very close with, that could have took something out of him, man. Could have threw his night off a little bit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say it definitely had some impact on his performance. His trainer, Ronnie Shields, was asked that question in between rounds, and he said yes, but he had to talk to him and try to get him back focused. But, watching something like that, man, is definitely going to affect you, man. So I'm going to attribute, his poor performance, due to his brother's losing has something to do with that, man. But do I think he's ready for Canelo Alvarez? Absolutely not, man. I think he would lose that fight. I still want to see the fight, you know what I mean? But Jermall Charlo, he got some work to do. Jermall Charlo got some work to do. I would rather see Jermall Charlo go up against a guy like Danny Jacobs first, a guy like Demetrius Andrade, you know what I mean? I think Andrade and Charlo would be a really, really good matchup, man. I would favor Charlo in that matchup, man. Andre's balance, man. Andre's balance is just, don't sit well with me, man. When he throws punches, a lot of times he's off balance if he misses. And, a veteran or a guy at an elite level will take advantage of that and counter Demetrius Andrade with something very, very powerful and possibly get him out of there, man. But overall, man, the Charlo brothers, they got some work to do, man. They need to work on their defense a little bit more, and they need to work on their patience. You know what I mean? They have to realize that just being powerful and aggressive is not going to work with every fighter. You know what I mean? I still think they're both definitely elite fighters. You know what I mean? They're still at the top of their game. I believe that they will come back 10 times better than this, because that's the type of competitors they are, man. Sometimes you have to go through things like this to, to come back a lot better. And I do think Charlo will come back 10 times better. As you can see in the post-press conference, man, he was very hurt about this, man, his loss, man. People don't like to lose, especially when you're competing at this top level, man. He was actually crying, you know what I mean? He was shedding tears, man. And, it's hurtful, man. He just lost his title, you know what I mean? He just lost his undefeated record. But I think he'll come back. I know he'll come back 10 times better. Both of them will come back 10 times better. And hopefully they can make the adjustments they need. And, hopefully Jamel can put himself back in position for another championship shot, which I know he will. Hopefully Tony Harrison will give him that shot. Now, after the match, Tony Harrison did say he'll give him a rematch. But then, as he kept on talking, he said he wanted a fight in his hometown, Detroit, first. And then he said he wanted Jared Hurd. He definitely wanted Jared Hurd next. So I don't know what Tony Harrison's going to do. He said he was going to give Charlo the rematch. Then he said he wanted to fight in Detroit. Then he said he wanted Hurd next. What is he going to do? I don't know. But one thing I do know, he is the new WBC champion of the world. That's all I got for now. This is your boy, Big Will. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when I'm dropping more videos. Peace. I'll holler back.